So, I'm here with Poetic Jaztice, and we're having a nice little walk on a beautiful day, talking about poems, talking about life, but just talking about how you got into this space. Like, how did you decide you wanted to write poetry? Or has it always been something that you're doing?
I've always been a writer. I've always enjoyed writing short stories and things like that.
Okay.
I used to be the deputy editor of OK magazine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In Dubai. So I've headed up several magazines. So writing has always been kind of like my safe space, I'd say. And I like to read a lot as well. So I'm a bit of a nerd.
Oh, okay.
But I think the poetry has just come about as a natural evolution of several traumatic situations. Yeah, it's just manifested itself that way. Because it's very organic. Because
there's a lot of like really deep poems that you've put in there. Like, is that just stuff you put on paper? Do you have to think about it before you put it out on TikTok and stuff? Do you feel like, or is it something that's been building up when now you feel like it's a time to release?
Well, to be honest with you, I had like my pages, like I'd already set up my username and everything for my pages on Instagram and TikTok for quite a while.
Okay.
And I was quite nervous about just putting it out there.
Right.
And then that also just happened organically. I was playing around with my phone one day, and I just happened to upload a video, and I thought, okay, well, this is it. Here we go.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel like God has been very kind and everything has been quite divine intervention about how it's all occurred quite organically. Okay. But the stuff that I talk about in my poetry, I would say is quite personal to me. I've always been told, if you're going to be a good writer, you have to write what you know.
Okay.
And so those are the kind of, I've been through a lot of trauma in my life, and I think I'm here to help other people to not feel alone, and to help people, go through the healing process, or, for someone. So I want to be someone that people can resonate with,
Yeah.
So
you definitely. So that was my next question. So is it real? So your poems are real life. It's it's raw. It's about you, isn't it?
It's about me. It's about other situations. I mean, I wrote a poem called Brown Girl Magic.
Okay.
And that was really like my sister's 9 years older than me.
Right.
And it was kind of exploring this dark side of Asian culture, because I love being Asian. But I think that, there was a time, in the 80s and 90s, perhaps even earlier than that, if you talk to your mothers or your aunts or whatever. But it was very much a culture that domestic abuse was kind of sort of brushed under the carpet, and it was given, like it's a norm.
Yeah.
And I think that's got to change, I've seen a lot of, I've seen my sister get hurt in situations like that. And obviously I've grown up around girls that were getting married at 16, 17, 18, and that was their reality,
And like on domestic abuse, is that something that you have experienced yourself?
Yes, I've experienced domestic abuse. But like I say, I mean, it's one of those things when you speak out about it, it's kind of like, oh, well, it's a given, your partner will do that, or the man will do that. So it's kind of it becomes a normal thing, so you don't really speak out about it.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I think when someone does abuse you. It has a massive impact on everything,
Okay. And like, how have you overcome that? Like, because obviously you've experienced domestic abuse, but how have you got past it? Like, were you in it for a while? Did it become toxic, or did you like say, right, first time it happened, bam, I'm done?
No, I'm a giver, and I'm a forgiver.
Right.
And I love being a wife. I love being a mother. I'm very happy in that sort of nurturing sense of things. I like being in that traditional role. But I think the biggest thing is you need to feel safe. And I think safety is the most important part of being in a relationship. And I think when it happens, like for me, if it's something that's happened repeatedly, I just think there comes a time when enough is enough.
So do you mind me asking, how long was this going on for before it kind of triggered you to did you leave the relationship, or did you run away? Like what happened exactly?
I don't think we should go here.
No?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think we should go here.
So should I say how long was it going on?
Even with the domestic abuse, I don't know if I really want to put it out there.
Okay,
we're in the middle
cool,
of getting divorced, so
Oh, you're in the middle. Okay, cool.
So I don't want to antagonise anything.
No worries. Okay, so what would be like your advice for any man or woman that's experiencing domestic abuse? What would you tell them?
See, the first thing is, I don't think you can hurt someone repeatedly and I expect that person to turn up with the same energy. And if you say that you really love someone, I believe that loving someone means that it becomes all about the other person. You want the other person, you want the best for that other person.
Yeah, of course.
And I think if you're not in that mindset, and that's not how you want to treat your partner, then I just think you're wasting your time, to be honest with you, because I don't think it's ever going to get better. In terms of like sort of narcissism and narcissistic relationships, I don't feel it doesn't get better.
Doesn't get better, yeah.
You know, you can forgive and forgive and forgive, but in the end, it's just a waste of your time and energy. Like my poetry does stem from a lot of traumatic situations that I've been in my life. And I think if I go back to the beginning, the first poem that I ever wrote was about racism.
Okay.
Because that's how I grew up. And, you know, it was in those formative years of your life being bullied like that, you know, outside, like just for the colour of your skin.
Yeah.
And at that time, even teachers were racist. The police were, you know, didn't care. It was a really hard time for us. And we used to watch, you know, like my dad would go out and fight these stupid boys or whatever. And, you know, he'd get hit and they'd be like, they would terrorise us. And I think when I had that in those formative years of my life, I think it had a major impact.
No, of course.
And I think racism really does ruin lives because it's okay, it happened for those, you know, 4 or 5 years, but it was at a very important time of my life. And when you're kind of treated as if you're dirty or inferior or whatever it is, just because of the colour of your skin, I just, as you grow and you become an adult, I think it has a major impact on a lot of situations, you know?
So, you were born in the UK, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so do you feel like racism has got better, or we're going backwards and going back into the same cycle?
I actually think that there was a time, you know, like in the early 90s, well, actually the 90s till 2000, I think the world became more diverse. I mean, when I was growing up, there was certainly nothing representative of what I looked like. There was no brown people in the media. There was nothing to look up to. I mean, our role models back in the day was like Trevor McDonald. Do you know what I mean? Because he was the only person of colour on television. So, yeah, I mean, I want people to look at me and be able to resonate with colour issues, with brown issues, with things. And I think from the 90s to 2000, we did become more diverse. But then now when I'm looking at it and all the racism and everything that's coming out now, I just think maybe it was just there all along and we just hid it very well.
Just kept under wraps and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel, like, I think this is a question I even get asked, do you feel British?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, okay. I'm very proud to be British. I'm very proud to be British Asian. I'm very proud of the opportunities and things that have been offered here. Obviously, my parents are from Tanzania.
Yeah.
And they immigrated here in 1973, and I'm a firstborn generation here.
Okay.
I think we've had our difficulties growing up. You know, the opportunities that I've been afforded from being in England, obviously, then I went to move on to Dubai. Yeah. And that opened huge doors for me because of my British accent or my way, and
now you're back.
And now I'm back. Yeah.
And what made you go to Dubai? Because obviously you said you had a really good job at OK Magazine.
So I was at OK Magazine in Dubai.
Yeah.
I also headed up a lot of other titles as well. I was also the editor of Gourmet Magazine.
Okay.
But initially I went because my husband was offered a job there.
Oh, okay, right.
And I was actually pregnant with my 4th child.
Oh wow.
Yes, it was all quite. So we went out there and whatever, and the OK Magazine thing happened later, after my 4th son, or after my 3rd son was born, I should say, after my 4th child.
So you essentially moved from the UK to Dubai with kids, with your husband.
Yeah.
How was that? Was that quite a hard experience? Was Dubai, was it recent? Like, how was Dubai when you moved back then?
So I moved to Dubai in 2007.
Okay, so it's not too far.
Yeah, so I moved in 2007. And I think at the time my older children were like 8 and 9.
Okay, right. Yeah.
And at the time here, I think it was quite rough, especially where we were living, because we live in the southeast of London, and it was quite rough. And being in Dubai offered a security and a safe space for my children, so I didn't really need to worry about them if they were going out, and I think it afforded them a life as well. And so I'm glad I went. It was very safe and secure. I'm glad that my children grew up there. But yeah.
And how long were you in Dubai for?
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
So what made you come back?
Initially, I came back actually just for a holiday and ended up staying.
Okay. Yeah.
Because my parents are here.
Okay.
But then I ended up staying, but then my mum got sick. in 2020.
Right.
And it was at the height of COVID, but it wasn't COVID. She had cancer, but we didn't know. We had no idea. So everything, like my mum got sick she told me that she was sick in September of 2020.
Right.
And we actually found out that she had cancer on the 29th of December.
Oh wow.
And she passed on the 18th of January.
Oh.
So it was all very.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's for that reason I don't regret staying in London, because I got to be the last days with my mum.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. And now, are you back here? You want to be back here for good? Do you want to go back? Do you want to take the kids back? What is it like? What's kind of the next stage for you?
My younger kids right now are in the middle of doing their A-levels. So I think in a couple of years, I'd love to move back to Dubai.
Okay. Yeah.
Once they've gone off to uni and done all of that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
If you could pick, like, would you say Dubai is better than the UK, or would you say?
It is better.
It is? Okay.
And I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, but there's something you've got to understand about Dubai. It's like Dubai's like living in a bubble.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where everything is kind of done for you, and it's a very nice life. It's a very nice life. But I mean, if you here, it's real. You know what I mean? Like you learn how to be streetwise. I think in the UK. So I'm actually glad I've got the best of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've said your eldest son is getting married. Is that
my
right?
eldest son is getting married? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And how is that? Obviously, with all that's going on, like, do you feel like it's gonna be awkward to get this all sorted, or do you feel like it'll be? Are you taking the lead? Are you doing everything?
Well, yeah. I mean, I want it done properly because that's just my way. Yeah, but he's getting married, and I want to do it like the traditional way and do everything. You know, I'm very very wary about stepping onto anyone's toes. I don't want to take the wedding away from them, but at the end of the day, I still want to have our events. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
And obviously, on the topic of marriage, was your marriage an arranged marriage?
No.
It wasn't love marriage?
No, it was a love marriage, yeah.
Okay. And like, do you feel like it's like arranged marriage on that topic? Do you feel like that's something that really needs to stop, or do you feel like it works for whoever it works for?
Well, I think it depends really. I mean, if you look at program formats like Love is Blind, it's basically that, you know, like you don't see each other, do you know what I mean? But you're talking and it's all quite halal, do you know, in a way. So I don't think the concept of arranged marriages is dead. What I do disagree with is the kind of arranged marriage where the parents decide and, you know, that the people just meet each other on the day. I think that's just not fair. I mean, like,
you feel like there should be some kind of conversation.
There has to be,
before,
there has to be. And I think, you know, times have changed. And I think parents are a bit more, you know, parents of our generation are definitely a bit more, you know, a bit laid back. Because they don't want their daughters and their sons to experience that kind of thing. But actually, I come from a background where my parents had a love marriage. So
yeah. Oh, okay. Would you say you're laid back?
I'm very laid back. Any more laid back, I'll be horizontal.
And you like all of your kids? You've got 4 sons, or is it a mix?
No, I've got 3 got 3 boys and a girl.
3 boys and a girl. Okay. And
my daughter's the eldest.
Your daughter's the eldest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Then that's fine. So obviously, with like what you're doing now, your poetry and stuff like that. What are their kind of thoughts on it? What's kind of like the family?
Yeah, no, they're really proud. They're like, yeah, go for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, just go for it. See, this is not my full-time job. This is just like, this is like, you know, I'm actually an actress.
Oh, okay.
So I've been in.
Kept that one quiet, didn't you?
So I've been in a few things.
Yeah. Anything that we would know about?
I was in the ZTV drama series called Kwabo Kederiel.
Oh my God! Okay.
I was the kind of supporting.
Was that filmed in Dubai or here?
It was filmed in Dubai.
Okay, right.
And I was also in a short movie called Thoda Sa Waqt.
Okay.
And that's actually an Urdu movie. It was an Urdu short.
Right.
And it was screened at the Emirates Short Film Festival in 2019.
Wow.
So I was on the big screen in cinema. I was like, it's all my dreams come true. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there more planned for you? Like, have you got a lot going on?
Well, yeah, I've been to drama school now.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's at the moment because there was like the writer's strike and there's a lot of other things going on. So it's been a bit slow.
Yeah.
But we're still trying to. There's a group of us actually who all went to drama school, and we're still trying to make our own opportunities.
Okay.
So I mean, this was kind of like my creative branch to all of that. Yeah.
Okay, now this is a good question. So let's say you're obviously acting and pursuing it. What role now suits you? Is it going to be the heroine with like a love interest, or the mother? Which one is it going to be?
Oh, I don't mind either. I'm okay with either. I see an ideal role for me. I would love to be Olivia Pope in Scandal. That would be my ideal role. That's my ideal role. But yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm happy to do either. I mean, I've been a mother in a music video that I did here. and that's cool with me. And I don't know, I'm probably too old to be a love interest now, I think.
Too old?
Too old, yeah.
50 plus?
No, I'm less than 50, but
Oh yeah, that's a question mark. Over 40, under 50, I think we got it.
Plus, I think I'm jaded for life. I think I'm done. Scarred.
You're done?
Yeah, I'm scarred, yeah.
You're done?
Yeah.
Your mother's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
And obviously, what is the acting industry like? Like, what is it like? How does it work? Like, auditions-wise, is there a lot going on? Like, is it very difficult? Or?
It's so competitive, but I think nowadays, because you have the self-tape feature, because COVID happened, so everyone was sending in self-tapes and there wasn't any sort of personal interaction. So actually getting into a room to do an audition these days is quite rare, because they all go off self-tapes first. Right. So I think in a way it's easier because you record at home and obviously you can show your best self, your best take, instead of just going out there and sort of winging it. Like, even now I want to do TikTok live, but I'm a little bit like, oh my God, it's live. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to mess it up, so
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll be looking forward to the live. I think you could just stay there and just get loads of likes and gifts anyway. So
I hope so.
just stay on it.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think about things like TikTok and Instagram and stuff? Do you feel like it's helping your platform get out there, and do you feel people are reaching out to you about what you're doing?
Definitely. I think with this kind of stuff that I'm touching on, like with the racism stuff and how it is actually to grow up brown in the UK, and just brown issues as well. It's also a lot of my own trauma, and I think it's been quite cathartic for me to write things down. Yeah. It's been hell for me, to be very honest with you. Okay. The reality of it is that my mum passed away 3.5 years ago. Yeah. And she was my rock and my very best friend. She was everything, and she was everything to everyone in my family. So when she died, it was like, it had a massive impact. Yeah. More so, close I mean, more so than I've witnessed in other families. Do you know what I mean? Because my mum was that person.
The nucleus.
Yeah. So now, I'm looking after my dad and whatever. And so it's just, my dad and I have developed an even stronger relationship than we had before, which I'm really grateful for. Yeah. And like I say, I love being sort of the nurturer and the person that cares for people and stuff like that. I love my dad. Do you know what I mean? And I just want to to be the best that I can be. But I've also had to deal with a lot of trauma in all of this, because my mum died, and then there's this whole divorce thing that's come on top of it as well. And a lot of things, I think it's when you understand that true colours soon become black and white. Yeah. True colours, I like that. True colours become black and white. Okay. Do you feel alone? And leave you jaded.
Leave you jaded. True colours. Right. Yeah. Do you feel alone?
Do I feel alone?
Do you feel
Sometimes
alone?
I do, yeah.
You do, yeah?
I do.
And is that coming from a place of just because of what's going on, or do you feel like there's just too much to take, even if you were with someone, you still felt alone in that relationship?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel alone now, I think, because I have been going through a lot, and I didn't expect my ex-partner to be the way that he has been. I expected him to have a lot more compassion and love for me. Yeah. So that in itself has kind of been like a big slap in the face, and I think that pushes you to a place where you do feel kind of isolated. So I've still got people around, but dealing with that heartbreak when you love someone so much and they turn around and do things to you, it's like, it's a big shock. I think it's very hard. And even now, like, the reality of it is that I'm not out of it. I still have my days when I cry and cry. I lose days, in this healing process. And I think when you experience heartbreak, I think God really breaks you down. Yeah. Like, he breaks you. I have felt absolute, like, crumble, like mulch. Do you know what I mean? But I can see that I'm growing my wings and I'm going to fly.
You're getting there.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Baby steps, basically.
Baby steps, yeah. But it's honestly, it's taking a very long time. I'm just like, when is something going to give? Yeah.
What do you feel like it is that you're looking for, like, now? Like,
peace.
Police?
Honestly, not peace. Not police. Peace.
Peace, okay.
Peace, I want peace. Yeah. I just want peace. I think I'm at an age now where, like, anything that disturbs my peace is just like,
you're not bothered.
Black and no. Yeah.
Just want a simple life, nice and easy. And I'm super priority to your family, right?
Exactly. And I think, like, I heard a line in a movie once that Govinda said. Okay. And he said, "Paise sab kuch nahi hota. Yeah. Magar bahut kuch hota hai." Yeah. And I think that I have been in a situation where I haven't, like, I've had money issues and I've had whatever, but I've actually, money isn't everything. And I've lived a very luxurious life in Dubai. But I've come from a very humble background here. So it's the best of both.
Best of both, is it?
But I feel really what I've learned, come to realize is my true wealth is my children and my dad.
So family over everything.
Yeah, family and peace over everything. Like, as long as I still have the privilege of looking after my dad in his golden years, and I've got my kids, that's all I need.
Well, that leads nicely into my next question, which is, can money buy happiness?
No, money can buy lots of nice things that can make you happy, but I think, you know what, at the end of the day, they're just things.
Yeah.
Do you know, like I say, I've got designer clothes and designer shoes and bags and all the rest of it, but you know, like, I just think at the end of the day, I've got more substance than that.
Yeah.
And you know, if it comes to a stage where I have to sell all my stuff, then I will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, money to me is very second. I need it to live, but it's not my be all and end all.
It's not your be all and end all. So what do you feel like right now your main priorities are?
Really, I think it's just getting over the hill in this traumatic period that I'm in. I'm still healing. And I, you know, sometimes it feels like one step forward and 100 steps back.
Yeah.
So really, I know I've definitely turned a corner. But I think it's just about, I just need to keep taking it, like you said, baby steps to my better life.
Well, what's the reason for the 100 steps back? Do you feel like you want to go back there, or do you feel like something's drawing you back, or is he not giving you the space? What do you feel it is?
I just think I loved him so much. Like I've never loved anyone like that, you know? Like I loved him so much, and we have massive history.
Yeah. First love?
He was, yeah.
Only
he
love?
Was my, no, not my only love,
love.
He was my first love. But I mean, we kind of met when we were kids, so I knew him since I was like 7 years old. So there's a 40-year history there.
Because so you grew together, basically.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just the way things have transpired. I think it's been a bit of a mindfuck, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay.
And because of that, I think, you know, there are some days when I think, don't worry, I've got this.
Yeah.
And then there are some days, you know, you'll get a letter from a lawyer or you'll get something like that, and it will just crucify you.
Yeah.
Like, I spend days and days crying, and I don't think anyone in my family, not my children, not my dad, nobody wants to see me like that anymore. So I think my main objective, my main priority right now is just peace.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Peace is important. I do feel like, well, firstly, do you get help for any of the emotions that you feel, or do you feel like you try and deal with it yourself?
My older kids, absolute rocks. Like, they have pulled me out of every crappy situation. They have helped me. They've shared my pain, and honestly, I'm so blessed. Like, when it comes to my children, but at the same time, I think, you know, because I'm in my 40s, I've been married and whatever, they don't have those experiences.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's nice to just bounce off somebody, you know, that has had those experiences. So I think sometimes I do feel very alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where the writing comes in. It just comes out onto paper.
Is it quite healing? Do you feel like the writing is quite a healing thing?
I think it's very cathartic for me, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's say we meet each other again in 10 years' time in the same spot. Hopefully the same spot, or not in the same, maybe in Dubai.
Inshallah. Yeah.
Where do you feel you will be?
Oh, in 10 years' time? Okay, so see, the thing is, I know I'm in my late 40s, but I say I'm forever 26.
Forever 26? Forever
26.
Why 26? Why
Look, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, 20. That's how I feel. I feel 26, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't even know why it's like 25. But anyway, considering that my daughter is now 26, I'm like, you know, I look at her and I think, maybe I'm not 26, maybe not, you know. Yeah. But I just feel, it's all about mindset. Mind over matter.
Yeah.
And I get that. Yeah. But I think when your heart hurts, it's really difficult. Your mind is then clouded.
Yeah.
I hope to be in a place in 10 years' time where all the opportunities that I thought that I'd lost, all the things that I thought had passed me by, I'm still going to fulfill them. Like, I'm ready to go all the way. Like, I'm fired up, you know? So,
like, what is on the bucket list then?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm taking each day as it comes. Obviously, I still would like to pursue my acting projects. I would like to be successful in that field. But really, I think my purpose in this world is just to help people. Yeah. And I think some people are born to fight, and I've gone through a lot of trauma. And like I say, I just want to be able to be a character that people feel that they can resonate with. Like when people look at me and they see, okay, it's a brown woman who's talking about brown issues or talking about racism or whatever. It's like, yeah, you know, like I can identify, I can get on with that, and I understand where she's coming from. It actually hits home, and it makes me think about my own thing to help me heal. I think my purpose in this world is just to help other people, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like you said, you feel like you're a giver, aren't you?
I'm very much a giver, yeah.
Okay.
No, I just want to help other people, because I know that I have felt so alone. And I know that there are some people that are going through this like healing process, or, you know, getting over a narcissist or divorcing a narcissist, or, you know, have been in those like where you're trauma bonded, but you don't realize and you think that it's love. And I felt so alone, and I just don't want anyone else to feel like that. I want people to be able to come and resonate and feel, and like, I want to create a community actually where people feel that is a safe space for them, you know?
All right, okay. Yeah. So is it more, is that what like one of your, so obviously you've got acting, is there another job that's happening at the moment? Do you have like a 9 to 6 job? Or
no, I don't.
It's all acting and just
so it's just, acting and poetry at the moment. Like I say, I mean, I've really gone through it for the last 3.5 years. I think there were some days I didn't even want to get out of bed, you know?
Do you feel like now you're having like you time and stuff like that? Is it like more about you now for the next kind of, until you get in a place you feel like you're ready to be out there, or you feel like you're doing and pursuing things slowly?
It's very much, it's all happening very organically.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm taking each day as it comes. I wouldn't say so much about me. My life is all about my family.
Okay.
But yeah, I think ultimately, like, I'm not interested in getting into a relationship again. I'm not interested in, I'm just not in that headspace at the moment. Like, I don't want to do any of that, you know? And I am focusing on me. And I think I've had very low self-esteem. And I think, like I say, it stems from being bullied, from the racism, from all of this. And even like, as I grew up and went into workspaces, I just never fully felt that I could sell myself. Okay. And I just want to work on that, because I've always, to be honest with you, I've always felt in every situation I'm on the back foot, like as if I'm being judged, or, you know, and nobody is. Nobody's doing it. It's all in my head. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Nobody knows me from Adam.
Yeah, of course.
But you know, I have that thing like, oh, what if I say the wrong thing, or what if they don't like me, and whatever. It's like, even when I wrote the poem Brown Girl Magic, I got quite a bit of hate for that. Because I had like, a lot of Asian men coming up to me, like writing to me and say, oh, you know, all Asian men are not like that, and whatever, and that's fine. You know, you can disagree. That's fine to disagree, whatever. But you know,
you just put your feelings out there. People are gonna,
because thousands of people do resonate with that. Thousands of women do resonate with that.
Absolutely.
It's been brushed under the carpet, and that's the dark side of Asian culture.
Yeah.
But I mean, had those people given me all that hate maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I might have like just completely like stopped doing it, and like I would be like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Like nobody likes me or whatever. I'm just going to stay in my bed, you know. But I think because I've turned that corner now, that I'm much more resilient and able to, you know, cope with that. And I think, you know, even with that, it's for one thing, it's a poem, right? But then you have these guys that are all brown men are not like that. Yeah. I appreciate that. I know there's lots of good brown men out there, But I'm not talking about you then.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, and it's fine to disagree or send me a message and say whatever.
Just keep scrolling.
But then to you unfollow me. Yeah. I delete your comment of hate. I delete it because I just want to delete all the hate.
Of course, yeah.
But I delete your comment of hate. But then you come back to my page to write a comment again. Oh, and it's like, chill out, man. You know?
They really want to get their point across.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're saying you're not like that, but you've come to harass an Asian woman. You've come to harass an Asian woman that you don't even know. I'm sorry, but that just shows me you haven't been raised right.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, really? So, you know.
And what has been like your worst experience? Like, let's talk about racism. What's been the worst experience that you've encountered?
There's been plenty. Yeah. When I was about 9 years old. Actually, no, I want to talk about when I was 4 years old, they set their dog on me. So
they just put a dog on you?
Yeah, like I was just playing outside my house.
Right.
And they set their dog on me, and I've still got a fear of dogs now.
Oh my God.
Because it's because the dog was on my shoulders, and that caused me a lot. So even now, I've got massive trauma. I'm really, really scared of dogs.
Right.
But even it was just stupid things, you know, like even if we like just had our bikes or whatever, and we just went up the road and came back.
Yeah.
Like if we went up closer to that side, everyone would Packy, and start throwing stuff at you. I remember being so small, I didn't even know what they were. I was like, I went to my mum and I said, like, why are they calling me Packy? What does it mean, Packy?
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, it means you're clean.
Oh, about just in life, like what do you feel like the most traumatic experience has been?
Oh God, there's been so many. There's been so many, and it's not. I don't want to adopt like this victim mentality.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that I'm a victim. I was a victim, but I'm not going to say, "Oh, poor me."
Yeah.
Like, I've been through it. It's made me stronger, made me more resilient. I think I've had things that have taken place in my marriage. I've had things that have taken place in workplaces.
Yeah.
And I think it all stems really from having very low self-esteem.
Wow. Okay. Do you feel like that's on the mend now as you've turned your corner?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely recognize my worth now.
Yeah.
Like, I'll weed out people really fast now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you're a family or if you're friends or whatever. If you're not going to give me the same energy that I'm giving you, then I'm sorry. I'm at a stage in my life, like I say, I protect my peace over everything.
See you later, basically.
Yeah. I'm just not down for it. Like, if you're gonna disturb my peace,
see you later. Yeah. And has there been any new candidates that have been disturbing your peace apart from these haters online?
Yeah, these haters online. I love my haters as well. I've got to say, I do love my haters. They take time to sit there and write comments to me. So I love my haters. Do you know, like they thought I was worth the time to write to. Yeah, I was like, it doesn't really bother me. Yeah. I'm actually a much stronger person now.
Yeah.
I've always been strong. Like if you think of all the things that I've actually been through, I've always been strong. But now I feel strong in myself to the point where if you can't recognize my value, if you can't see what you've got in me, there's the door.
Okay. Bye. Don't let it hurt you on the way out.
Exactly.
And I think we did touch upon this slightly, but as we close, like, what's next?
To be honest with you, I really don't know.
Yeah?
I don't know. It's everything that's happened. I mean, me being able to have those last days with my mum and all the rest of it, I feel that was divine intervention.
Okay.
I put God first above everything. I never miss my prayers. I just want to live my life in a good, clean way. I want to look after my dad. I just want to, make sure that all of that is okay. Yeah. And I think once that's done, once my kids have the younger two start going to university and everything, then I'll be able to focus a lot more on me. Yeah. But at the moment, I'm just kind of, I'm just kind of just working on myself and my own self-esteem, and I just want to. I'm going to put myself out because I think I'm brilliant. Yeah, I think I'm brilliant. I'm amazing. I'm pretty amazing.
And are you religiously, are you Muslim?
I'm Muslim, yes.
Yeah, and obviously again on that, considering everything that's going on, is it are you quite strict? Do you raise your kids strict, or is it quite you pray 5 times a day, or is it a bit more like?
No, in my house, prayers is a must.
Okay.
So we all pray 5 times a day.
Okay.
And that's kind of one of the things that I've always said to my kids, do whatever you do, but pray. Okay. Yeah, because that awareness of God really does shape your day to day and how you will conduct yourself. If you've got God at the forefront of your mind, you won't do crappy things. Do you know what I mean? And I think that in itself is a guidance by itself. But at the same time, also with my children, I've adopted this principle with them that I want you to always be your true self when you're in my house. Yeah. Okay? So if you can't be your true self when you're at home, then it's all lost really, isn't it? Yeah. And I think there comes a time, I've got a daughter, but I've never been super strict with her because I know how I've raised her. Yeah. I know that I've raised her well. Okay. And so when she goes out, I don't think about her doing stupid things. And I think when we were growing up, there's that trust. I think when we were growing up in the 80s and 90s, and we're first generation Asians here. And I think our parents still wanted to keep that whole, obviously the culture and everything is very, very important. And they wouldn't really let us go out and do things. So we'd sneak around and we'd sneak out and or another excuse or whatever, and we would do all of that kind of stuff. But I just want my kids to be able to come to me and say, honestly, straight up, I'm going here, I'm going there. Do you know what I mean? I want to have that relationship with my children where we're friends, we're homies, this is your safe space. Yeah. Your house is your safe space. And I think if you control your children too much, when they do grow up and go to university, that's when you're actually asking for a problem.
Yeah, they do silly things. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously in terms of, we've spoken about being, praying 5 times a day. at any point in all of that's going on, did you ever lose faith in God?
I think we all have our spiritual moments. I think it's kind of up and down, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I think you hit a certain age where you think, actually, I've probably lived like half my life now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So now I'm going over the hill.
Yeah.
And I think when you have that realization, and I think also the death of a parent, when you lose, or when you lose someone very close to you, somebody told me, you either have faith or you have whiskey, right?
Either faith or whiskey.
Faith or whiskey.
Okay, right.
In these times. And obviously I don't drink, so
Yeah.
it was faith for me.
Yeah.
But my faith has gotten stronger, I think. And that's really my parents, like the way that we've grown up in a very sort of humble background.
Right.
We never really had much growing up. We grew up poor.
Yeah.
But my parents, like, you know, there's a lot of Asian parents that will be like, oh, you know, better, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be an engineer, I want you to be a lawyer. You know, my parents never really had that.
Okay.
My parents were not like that. But what my parents did have was an extreme awareness of the hereafter.
Okay, right.
So when me, my brother, and my sister, as we were growing up, like, we didn't have much, but, you know, like, we were told, like, our morals, our moral compass, our manners, the way that our character was very much on the daily. It was like, just remember that you're going to die one day.
Yeah.
And lead your life accordingly.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because I think money comes and goes, but that substance, that faith,
Okay.
And I think when I've grown up like that, and because I grew up like that, even if I've had times when I felt less spiritual, I think I was always going to come back to it. Okay. And now I'm in a place where, like, I feel so good in my relationship with God, you know? Like, I just know, like, He's got me.
He's got you.
It's all right.
He's got you back.
He's all right, yeah. He's my Heavenly Father.
Heavenly Father.
I see it that way. And I think when I adopted that principle, when I sort of, like, because, you know, sometimes when you're growing up, it's like, oh, God is to be feared. And I think especially in our culture, you know, like, oh, you're going to go to hell if you do that, and you're going to go to hell if you do this. And I think everybody, Allah, God has created us all individually with our own individual gifts and our own uniqueness that we bring to the fabric of this world. Do you know what I mean? That we're important. We're supposed to be here in this time for a reason, you know? And we're all different. So, you know, like, I might not wear hijab, for instance. Okay, I might not wear a hijab, but I know I've got the rest of my hijabs down. Do you know what I mean? Like, in my character. And I don't really like to judge like people and things like that. I just think, you know, everybody has their own uniqueness, and everyone has their own journey to God. Yeah, okay. Their own journey back, you know. And their own journey back, yeah. Oh, well, it's been an absolute pleasure. I think we've covered a lot of ground in a very short period of time. It's because I can't stop talking. It's been amazing. Poetic Jaztice, and so that is obviously in the comments. You can see. Make sure you follow, drop this a like, and, you know, share this, because obviously some of her work is unbelievable, and you need to really, really have a look. Have you got anything to say to your adoring fans? My adoring fans. Thank you for all your support. I want to say thank you to all the people that have loved me and hated me. And yeah, it's been really good. It's been a very healing process. And I like I said, I want this to be a community and a safe space where people feel like, you know, that they come together. So I'm going to go live soon. Let's start building this community, basically. All right, and just watch the TikTok lives. That's all we have to say. All right, perfect. Amazing. Well done. Yeah.